Hi there, welcome to another edition of First Chapter Fridays here at the Alameda Free Library. My name is Miss Virginia, and today I'm going to share a book with you. It's called The Stars Did Wander Darkling, and this is a book by Colin Meloy. I have to warn you though, this book is very creepy. If you are a person who likes Stranger Things and you are in upper middle school, say 7th and 8th grade, maybe 6th, and you like creepy books, this might be something for you. And I should also warn you, not everything is fully explained in this book, so who knows, maybe he will write a sequel. So I'm going to start, and you can see that it's quite a creepy cover. I'm going to start with the very beginning of the book, and I always like to read the jacket. It gives you a good sense of what the book is about, whatever it may be. So let me read this jacket to you, and then we'll get started with the first section. Maybe Archie Coombs has been watching too many horror movies. All of a sudden, the most ordinary things have taken on a sinister edge. A penny on a doormat. A man in a brown suit under a street lamp. The persistent sound of an axe chopping in the middle of the night. He keeps telling himself that this is Seaham, a sleepy seaside town where nothing ever happens. Or at least nothing did, until his dad's construction company opened up the cliff beneath the old, some say cursed, Langdon place. Soon, though, he and his friends can't deny it. More and more of the adults in town are acting strangely. An ancient, long-buried evil has been unleashed upon the community, and it's up to the kids to stop it before it's too late. Before I do read the first section, I want to let you know that it is available on ebook on Libby and also on Hoopla as an ebook and an audiobook. Now that I've finished reading this, I think I'm going to try the audiobook, and it's going to be even creepier, I imagine. The Stars Did Wander Darkling. Before. The rain-wet woods, a hover of mist just below the treetops, brief flurries of drizzle escaping through the boughs of the firs. The moss-thick floor, fountains of fern, primordial fern, bunching on the hillside, little explosions of green. Everywhere is green, dark green, lime green, sea green, the sound of the sea. No sign of the sea, but the sound of the sea. The wind, when it blows, is cool and wet and salty. In a clearing, 3 men have appeared. No knowing how they got there. Did they climb down from the trees or claw their way through the mossy forest floor? They have arrived, one after another in the clearing. They are wearing suits and coats, brown as dirt, and brown hats. Their shirts are dingy, as if they spent the night somewhere dirty and dark. Their cuffs are yellowed from sweat. A mist engulfs the clearing, obscuring everything beyond the first few stands of trees. One of the men kicks at the ground with a scuffed wingtip. "What's this, Lug?" says one. "Don't know, Wart," says another. "Seems spongy," responds the third. "I believe it is earth," says the first. "I recall it, I have memory." The third, Toff, kneels down and takes a fistful of moss in a grimy hand and holds it to his nose, sniffing. He recoils. "Stinks," he says. He then proceeds to cram the stuff into his mouth. He chews like a cow on its cud. He stands and reports to his compatriots, barely intelligible through his mealy meal. No good. Bits of moss fall from the corner of his mouth. His fellows look on disinterestedly. They are all built mostly the same. They are of medium height, of medium stature, with little paunches of belly. Their facial hair distinguishes them. Toff with a bushy mustache, Lug with his full beard, and Wart with neither beard nor mustache, but with mutton chops that sprout from the sides of his cheeks like wiry, dark cotton. Lug has finished his meal of earth and moss and has swallowed. He has wiped his lips clean. The 3 men stand facing one another in the clearing. 3 points of a triangle. What's to be done then? Asks Toff. That's to be discovered, says Wart. For now, we watch. And wait? Asks Toff. And wait, says Wart. Lug smiles at his compatriots. His teeth are black with dirt. There is a rustle in the nearby vegetation. A small deer, having come upon the scene, has bolted. The three men track its movement as it races up the hillside. Is that one? Asks Toff. Nah, says Lug. He has retrieved a small, well-worn book from his pocket. He begins leafing through it until he comes upon the sought-for page. It's a deer, a mammal, says Lug. Related, though. Deer, says Wart. Deer, says Toff. I recall now. Deer. Shall we kill it? Asks Wart. Lug refers to his book again, and having read it, shakes his head. Lesser sentience, he says. He pulls out the small nub of a pencil and makes a note on the page. He places the book back in his interior pocket. The other two men do likewise. Pull book from pocket, note with stubby pencil. One returns his book to an interior jacket pocket. The other keeps it in his hand. This is Wart. He has remained on the page and begins to read. Coastal temperate rainforest, North America. More living and decaying biomass than anywhere on the planet. Prime tree species include Douglas fir, western hemlock, Sitka spruce, red cedar. Inhales deeply, grimaces, stinks. The other two are listening, though. Wart flips through more pages and reads, Programmable microwave oven. Percy Spencer, inventor. An oven that heats through electromagnetic radiation. Convenient features include selectable power level and presets for common preparations. The other two nod, taking in the information. Wart turns pages, reads more. Algebra, a variety of mathematics that uses symbols to deduce sums, a core staple of modern primary education. More nodding from his compatriots. Thus emboldened, Wart flips more pages still and reads, Rimbaud, Arthur, when the child's forehead full of red torments implores the white swarm of indistinct dreams. Here Wart digs his foot in the ground. There come, near his bed, two tall, charming sisters with slim fingers that have silvery nails. There is a quickness of breeze. It shakes the tree limbs and rustles the leaves. The mist begins to separate, to unweave. A veil is being lifted. Wart continues. They seat the child in front of a wide-open window, he reads, where the blue air bathes a mass of flowers, and in his heavy hair where the dew falls move their delicate, fearful, and enticing fingers. The mist continues to dissipate. The light around them grows. Toff and Lug exchange glances, then look out into the forest. Wart is now reading from another page. Yeats, William Butler, poet, Ireland, 19th and 20th century. The darkness drops again. The birds have stopped their song. The wind whistles through the boughs. It ruffles the pages of Wart's notebook. He grips the book tighter, his thick fingers holding back the paper, and reads again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. Toff looking out into the surrounding woods, sees something. A smile begins to break across his face, revealing the ruddy, yellowed, and dark teeth. Lug sees it too now and smiles. Look in the break between two trunks of trees is a lightning, the view of a horizon. Slowly, the surrounding forest reveals itself to the three men. It is as if the world outside themselves is emerging from thin air. Beyond the trees, the sky can be seen, a sky brightening as the mist retreats. The new light reveals just below a small town, its many buildings and houses arrayed before them, as if in miniature. The ocean, the wide gray ocean, heaves against a long strip of beach that extends beyond their vision. Wart, his eyes now on the scene before him, finishes his recitation without looking at the page. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born? He smiles, closes book, places it in interior jacket pocket. The time has come. The town this takes place in is Seaham, Oregon, and the year is 1987. Not going to read too much more, just a little, so you can meet some of the kids that are involved in the story. Friday. There was a penny on the doormat. It was there. Archie saw it just inside the second O of the family's name, Coombs, like the pupil of an eye. Archie had just come home from his last day of school before summer break and leaped the 3 front steps of his house in a bound. Something about the coin called his attention and stopped him in his tracks. He supposed someone had dropped it. Find a penny, pick it up all day long, have good luck, he thought. He picked up the coin. It felt strangely cold to the touch, like it hadn't wanted to be found. He recoiled a little from it. Just then the front door swung open and nearly pitched him over sideways. "Talking to the slugs, Arch?" asked his brother Max. Archie, embarrassed, quickly stood and threw the penny over the side of the porch. "No," he said, "I wasn't." Max stared at him, a mocking grin on his face. The boy was equipped in his soccer kit, striped green shirt, Seaham YMCA soccer written across the top. Striped shorts, striped socks pulled knee-high over shin guards. Max, with his gelled hair and his one earring and his dogged acne that he lay siege to every night with a medicine cabinet's worth of creams and pads to little effect. He was 16, only 3 years older than Archie, but the divide between them could not have been more pronounced. Archie to Max was still a child. Max to Max was an adult. "Out of my way, bug," said Max. The door slammed behind him and he jumped 3 steps of the porch to the sidewalk, the laces on his cleats shoes casually untied. Archie watched him go. He slung his backpack over his shoulder and opened the front door. Just then he looked down and froze. The penny was there again, back on the doormat, exactly where it had been when he had picked it up. "Close the door, Dilnard," came a voice from inside the house. It belonged to one of his twin sisters. He couldn't in the moment tell which one it was. All of his siblings seemed to have a competition going as to which of them could be crueler to their younger brother. He left the penny where it was and stepped into the house, letting the door slam behind him. Olivia, 15, was sitting on the couch playing Nintendo. One of the Mario brothers was leaping from a stack of blocks onto a flagpole. It was clear that Olivia had not yelled his name. She was too intent on the action on the screen. Annabelle, Olivia's twin, sat on the far side of the couch, twirling her brown wavy hair in her fingers. "You're letting flies in, dork," she said. "There's a penny on the doormat," said Archie, pointing behind him. "And when I..." His sisters fixed him with a disinterested look. "When I picked it up..." "Never mind." On the TV screen, 3 little fireworks exploded in sequence above a pixelated castle. "It was your turn to take the garbage out," said Annabelle. "Sorry," said Archie, "I forgot. I'll do it now, okay?" "Too late. Dad did it," said Olivia. "Dad's home?" Archie looked at the clock on the mantel. It was 3:45. Peter Coombs rarely came home from work before 6. "Why did you even tell me if Dad did it already?" he said. "'Cause you're in deep," said Olivia, returning her attention to the game. "Double deep," said Annabelle. Archie cast his eyes toward the kitchen. The door was closed, but he could hear his father's voice through it. Archie could tell he was talking on the phone. His sentences were punctuated with long pauses, during which he would grunt noises of understanding or assent. Archie walked to the door and pushed it slightly open, enough so he could see his father standing by the kitchen counter, his right hand cradling the yellow telephone receiver into his ear, the thumb and middle finger of his left hand kneading the edges of his forehead. "I know that, Mrs. Rockwell," he was saying. "Yes, I'm fully aware of that. Believe me, this is as hard for me as it is for you. I was relying on..." He was interrupted again. His left hand fell from his temple to worry the spiral cord that attached the receiver to the cradle. That's a phone with a cord. Archie could see his mother, her back to him, leaning against the fridge, watching her husband. He closed the door and returned to the living room. "What's that all about?" said Archie. Beats me, said Olivia. He was here when we got home. Archie sat down in the empty chair next to the couch and watched the action on screen, but he could still hear his father's muffled voice through the kitchen door. All I'm saying, Candace, Peter said. All I'm saying, let me finish. All I'm saying is that I can't be liable here. I spoke with the engineer. I mean, there were red flags everywhere, even before Wednesday. Yes, before Wednesday. We just can't. This was followed by a lengthy pause, after which he continued. I get that. But see, the thing is, my engineer said that we just can't continue work. Not with the sort of seismic issues we're seeing on the site. Archie exchanged a fleeting look with Olivia before her attention was drawn back to the screen. We don't know how far they go, his father was saying. These fissures. And until we do, I just can't allow the work to continue. I'm sorry, Candace. This was followed by a series of ahas and I knows, plus several apologies, before Archie heard the receiver being placed back on the cradle. His mother and father spoke in hushed tones for a moment before the door to the living room swung open. His mother, Liz, looked into the room and gave Archie a forced smile. Hiya, Arch, she said. How was the last day of school? Fine, said Archie. What's up with Dad? Liz looked surprised, as if impressed by Archie's powers of deduction, and then she turned serious. Well, I suppose you should know. Know what, Mom? Asked Olivia. Your dad's going to be home for a while, she said. They've stopped work on the site. Annabelle looked away from the television. A swell of sad bleeps accompanied Mario's fall into a gap between two beige pillars. It's not a big deal, guys, Liz said. It's temporary till they can figure out what's going on. But it did seem like a big deal to Archie. He knew the last year had been a difficult one for his parents. The nonprofit his mom had worked for, Co-State, had dissolved her position in November, and she'd been unemployed ever since. CM, like most coastal towns, had lived under a pall of depression for as long as Archie could remember. And so it had been some relief when Coombs Construction's bid on the new hotel project that was being planned on the headlands just north of town had been accepted. So, I'm going to stop there. You've been introduced to Archie's family. You didn't meet his friends yet, but they're but there's a good group of friends in this book, and they are trying to avert something pretty horrible from happening. Kind of like in Stranger Things, or if you've ever seen the movie Goonies. They were searching for treasure, but like I said, I really recommend this book. It has a very creepy atmosphere. If you like that type of thing, you might enjoy this. And I'm wondering, now that I've finished it, because not all the questions were answered, perhaps he's going to write a sequel. I don't know. That's what I would ask him if I had the chance. So I hope you'll check it out. Again, it is available as an ebook on Libby, and ebook and audiobook on Hoopla, which I'm going to check out the Hoopla audiobook after I finish up this recording. So I hope you'll check it out. Again, I do recommend it for upper middle school only. So if you're in 7th or 8th grade, maybe 6th, you might enjoy this. All right, I will see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.